With the Christmas season in full swing, Uncle Jeff paid us all a timely visit, regifting Prime members with the series no one watched but everyone talked about, Rings of Power. But this time, the 8 episodes came in the form of short, 6-minute long behind-the-scenes videos that, while surprisingly well-produced, garnered neither excitement for the show nor an appreciation for it after the fact. Rather, this behind-the-scenes look just made me a bit sad for what could have been, as many of the ideas of the cast and crew were actually quite good, but through a combination of ignorance, arrogance, and carelessness, they were lost. And it highlights a common problem that's rampant among many modern films and series, which is the disconnect between inspirations and themes and concepts of the filmmakers with the final product that the audience sees. This issue is rampant among shows and films, and the recent look behind the scenes with Rings of Power highlights the fact that this may be one of the worst offenders, and I think the one that we can learn from the most. So let's take a look at the final tragic lesson of the Rings of Power. One of the first points of disconnect we see is between the actors' concepts for how to portray their characters and the characters that the audience themselves actually meet. Take, for example, the elven patrol that hunt with Galadriel. They talk about wanting to convey a sense of timeless wisdom in the way they approach an enemy, and that they dispatch them with elegance. And this is a great idea, but one that wasn't even hinted at in the final product. Let's take a look at another performer here, playing an orc that attacks Theo and Bronwyn. There's great ideas for his character that come up, but they just don't come across in that final product, like his unpredictable, sporadic movements. This idea for even a minor character is really fantastic, but we just don't get a sense of it in the final product. It's shot mostly in close-ups and with a lot of handheld camera work. There's multiple cuts in the final edit, and this all just does a real disservice to the performer. And it could have been easily fixed by filming it in wider angles with smoother operation and capturing his performance in a more complimentary way. Now, speaking of camera work, there's one scene that I've been wanting to go into a little more depth than before, and that's the interrogation scene in episode 6, with its exclusive use of Dutch angles, bringing us to our next point of disconnect, being the intention of the framing with that final image. Director Charlotte Brandstrom talks about how she wanted to create a sense of feeling of being off balance in the scene, to complement how Galadriel feels, and she went about this by physically tilting the cameras off axis in what is called a Dutch angle. Now, it might be a bit simplistic and almost a film school style of approach, but there's nothing really wrong with utilizing Dutch angles in this way if they're executed well. But when you're framing your subject for a Dutch angle, you want to pay very close attention to and follow the direction of their eye line and their movements. For the majority of the scene, the cameras are tilted off axis in almost a haphazard way, paying no attention to any aspect of the actors' performances. And in the few shots that they do manage to accomplish this, there seems to be a neglect for how much of the frame is filled with the subject and how much empty space is left over in that frame. Now, speaking of attempting to create a feeling through the framing, episode 7's behind-the-scene video also gives a glimpse into the filming of Largo Brandyfoot's infamous speech, affirming what I said in my review previously about episode 7 with distance and lens choice, showing just how far away the camera was from the actors in that scene. Now, one last aspect of disconnect I'd like to talk about also comes from episode 7, being the intent behind that lighting design and the final image. The aftermath of the volcanic eruption may have been the greatest potential for a dramatic image, but it ended up being some of the most flat, unappealing series of images in the whole series. Cinematographer Alex Disanoff took inspiration from photographs of wildfires, which is absolutely perfect for the scene. Unfortunately, in its execution, everything looked flat and one-dimensional, as if it were lit with large, heavily diffused sources, blanketing the studio in a single soft color. With these behind-the-scenes videos, Rings of Power teaches us one final sad lesson, that it doesn't matter how good your ideas are or what your inspiration was, what's important is the final product, and that final product from Rings of Power speaks for itself. Well, thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a like, share it, subscribe to my channel for more videos like this, and let me know in the comments, what do you think of the production of the Rings of Power?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.